Hey, how's it going? Hans Schaff here, GoTinyBeFree, and I'm here at the Cottages at Pine Lake, and I have got your spring update. It was supposed to be a March update, but we just got so much going on here that I'm a little bit late, so call it a March update, spring update, either way. Got a couple things I want to go over with you guys here today. I'm going to try and not talk too fast. I'm going to try and slow myself down here, slow my roll. But for those of you who missed it with the eclipse today, here's a tiny house eclipse. You may have seen the earlier video, but here you go. Tiny house eclipse. The 16-foot RJO is going to eclipse the Incredible Cottage behind it, even though it's 24 feet long with the trailer, with the deck and all. But here you go, a full tiny house eclipse. There you go. So now you get your fill of eclipses today. I'm going to back up here a little bit, but you can get a good shot here of the water and the two homes behind. Okay, there we go. You can see the homes, you can see myself. Here we go. So welcome everybody. Welcome to April. I know I fooled a lot of you guys last week with the April Fool's special. I was having a little bit of fun there. Maybe went a little too far with it. Many people believe that was actually something we were going to do. Believe me, I got a lot of great ideas, but I don't have any crazy ideas that we're going to implement like that. That would obviously be way too cost prohibitive. I was trying to make it as ridiculous as possible so no one would take me seriously, but I guess I went a little too much detail there, so people thought it was real. So fooled a lot of people. That's why I got to watch the video all the way to the end. Make sure you understand and get all the details, just as in Happy April Fool's Day. So, no, we are not, just for the record, we are not doing ice lots, water lots on the water. That was just a complete joke, okay? That last short video that I did last week for April Fool's Day. So, today is Eclipse Day. It is April 8th. You've got the eclipse happening here anytime now. I'm going to be here on the property and kind of see what happens as it gets all dim. Maybe there'll be crazy animals coming out of the lake. Just kidding. I don't want to scare anybody. Who knows what will happen today on the Eclipse Day. But anyway, got a lot of work going here Got a lot of work here on the property. Phase 1 lots are ready to go. So I'll be getting some footage, and I'm way behind on that. I've been doing a lot of work there on those lots. We got Phase 2 work going on, infrastructure being put in place, and a couple of things I'm going to announce here on this video we haven't really talked about, but people have been asking questions and things. Let's talk about the lake. People ask, is it a pond? Is it a lake? Really, it's up to your own perspective, but it's going to be a deep lake, right? It's going to be probably 15, 20 feet deep, and due to the size of it, just the land size alone is about 2 to 3 acres. And when you consider the depth of it, really technically I think it falls as a lake. And it's going to be nice. It's going to have 2 water fountains in it, both diffusers on the bottom and fountains on top. So the water on top is going to keep the water moving constantly, so there's no algae issues or anything like that. Diffuser on the bottom is going to keep that oxygen bubbling up to the top. It's going to force air into the lake and up to the top as well. It's good for the fish, oxygenates the water, helps make it even more clear. Plus it's nice, you get the sound of it, the sight of it and all that. So I'm not sure exactly what size fountains we're going to get, because like I said, put those fountains in the middle of the lake, it's about 275 feet wide. So that's a lot of wire we got to put there. So we're working on the details on all that. But just so you know, we're going to have some water features in the lake as well with the dock. So you'll be able to go fishing, you'll be able to do some paddle boarding, kayaking, things like that. So as you can see here, it's starting to green up here in just outside Huntsville, Alabama here. It's definitely springtime. The grass is turning green. You get the leaves on the trees starting to come out, so you're starting to get a little bit of shade here, starting to filter through. So like these panels right here in the front are working quite as well as they were before when there were no leaves on the trees, because the sun angle is starting to move higher into the sky. And of course we're going to have that hour or so of darkness when that eclipse comes through here any minute. And work footage. I know a lot of people want to see the work. What's been going on with the property? Where are things at? Like I said, we've got Phase 1 ready to go. Phase 2 we're working. We got it's under construction right now at the moment. And I've got a lot of video that I put together between drone footage, GoPro time lapse, just GoPro footage, myself just kind of holding the video camera, showing the different machines working and the guys in the ditches and all that kind of stuff. Lots been going on here. It's real exciting. It's real fun, but it's a lot of footage. So I got to edit it, put it all together. It takes a lot of time, as well as kind of overseeing everything, making sure everything's going the way it's supposed to. So everything's right on track. The latest I've heard from Incredible Tiny Homes, just through the grapevine and all, looks like a lot of the homes will start. I believe they are now working on the RJOs currently, and several Incredible Cottages are actually being worked on at the moment as well. So we hope that maybe by the end of April or so, thereabouts, maybe beginning of May, we should have the first couple of tiny homes coming through here for Phase 1. And shortly thereafter, I hope we start seeing some of the RJO 24 footers from Christmas sale. Some of those should be coming out and rolling out here as well too. So we'll have a lot of cool footage of those homes kind of rolling in here and putting them in place, setting them all up. And then of course the final footage of what it will look like once the homes are in here. Now keep in mind, this is going to be a multi-step process as well. As you'll see from the footage when I'm able to put it on the video here, you're going to see a lot of the lots that are not finalized, like the infrastructure's in place, but we haven't finished like the landscaping and all the grading and all that, because we got to get the homes in place first. Once those homes are in place in the forest and all that, and situated and propped up and all that, then we're going to come back afterward once all the lots have been filled, and then come back and grade it, make it all look nice, get the parking area, all that kind of set up as well. There's no point doing all that now and having to come back and do it again anyways. So you'll see that it will be look a little bit unfinished when you see this kind of footage. I want to make sure you're prepared for that as well. That, hey, why doesn't it look perfect like you show on the renderings? It's because it's not finished yet. We got to get the homes in first, because kind of getting them in between the trees and getting them in the right place is going to take a little bit of work, and it's going to mess up the property a little bit. These homes are 10,000 pounds or whatever, some of them, so it's going to tear up the road a little bit. It's going to tear up the lots a little bit. So once we kind of position them in place, so they're angled just right and all that, and set apart just correctly, then we're going to come back afterwards and we're going to dress it all up nicely and get it all finished. So it's going to be a multi-step process, just so you're kind of aware kind of how this is all going to work. What I want to do now is show you the new renderings. As I've told you, I think a couple weeks ago, I had some new renderings created, and this is going to really help put some of the finishing touches on there to kind of help you visualize and see what it's going to look like. Again, you're not going to see these final touches until we get a lot of the homes in here, because again, we don't want to go ahead and do all this work 3 times, put some nice landscaping in place, put these flowers in place and shrubs and all that, and have to take a tiny home and have to back up over that and kill these plants and all that, and have to pull them out and put new ones in because they might be in the way. So we're trying to get all the major work done first, get as many homes in here as we can first, and then we'll come back afterward and dress it all up, make it all look nice. All right, so we've got the new renderings in. I haven't shown these yet. I think now is a great time to kind of showcase to people what it is, how this property is going to look. We showed you the initial renderings, kind of looking at the property from the top down, from the front, different angles and things like that, kind of give you an idea of what it was going to look like with having a few Incredible cottages here on the property. Well, as we now know, we've got a lot more RJOs coming and a lot of Incredible cottages coming, so we've altered those renderings a little bit to adjust and have a couple different tiny home models showing. Let's review this first rendering here. What's the front of the property going to look like? This is kind of the plan. This is the idea that we've got. So as you enter the property now, we've talked about that first gate is now going to be moved to the southeast corner of the property. And so as you drive in on that main road, first thing you're going to see, of course, the lake in the background, tiny houses in front of that. And then right in front, right off the main road, you're going to see rows of fencing, shrubs, raised garden beds, flowers, kind of a multi-tiered look. So you kind of see these different layers as you're looking towards the lake. It's going to be really, really neat looking. Lots of different colors, lots of texture, lots of different shapes and sizes. It's going to look real nice. That's the first view we want to show people as they're pulling up to the property. You see this really nice looking tiny house community. And that's before you even get into the private part, right? So this next rendering I want to show you is one you've probably already seen from a prior video. And this was a rendering we did to kind of show a little close-up of what's it like when you've got, if you're looking at 2 tiny house lots side by side. You got 2 different tiny houses. So we want to showcase the Incredible cottage and the RJO kind of side by side, 2 different lots, and kind of see what do we think people are probably going to want to do. So here you see you've got one person's added a deck onto the side because the RJOs have the door on the side. So they're going to come out into their side deck and then probably build around the back. We imagine probably going to put a deck on the back side of the house so you can see the lake. So you can see these 2 houses here. I mean, this is an RJO. That's an Incredible cottage. That's a small RJO. But in the rendering, we've got the 24-foot double dormer RJO and the 10 by 20 Incredible cottage side by side. As you can see, again, the 2 houses, kind of where the parking area is going to be, where there's a space for a deck, space to put some chairs, space to put some flowers, things like that, where the trees are going to be kind of situated, where the ground is, where the lake is in comparison. So just kind of give you a little better idea, a little better visual of what the final product is going to look like. All right, and back to my favorite view here of the lake with the rain and all. One last thing I want to talk to you about, let's talk about the lots. As you know, we are making available the phase 2 lots right now. They're under construction. We're working on them right now, putting the infrastructure in and getting those ready to go. But we still have one phase 1 lot. A situation came up where someone who had a phase 1 lot wasn't able to go through with it. Life change situations took place. So therefore, we have one more lot available in phase 1 for $10,000, which will save you $5,000 if you're looking to get on the lake. That's the cheapest way you'll be able to get out here. $10,000 key money for a phase 1 forest lot, which again, those lots are ready to go. Those will be the first homes that are coming on the property here in a few weeks' time. We'll be going out there to phase 1. We have one lot left there in the forest, phase 1, $10,000 key money. So go ahead and give me a call, or easiest way really is through email. I can respond a lot faster that way. support@GoTinyBeFree.com. Again, that's support@GoTinyBeFree.com. And email me if you're interested in that situation. And if they're still available by the time you see this message, email me right away, and we'll let you know what you need to do to go ahead and secure that lot, which is to go ahead and buy a tiny house. And then that will be an option for you, that $10,000 lot here at the Cottages at Pine Lake. But again, Phase 2 lots are also available on the lake, which you can have a nice view like this. Those are $15,000 for key money. For all the details, be sure to go to GoTinyCottages.com. That's GoTinyCottages.com. But if you want that Phase 1 lot while it still is available, email me, support@GoTinyBeFree.com, and I'll let you know how you can go ahead and get that secured with a new tiny house purchase. All right, that's all for this message. One other thing I want to discuss that we haven't talked about publicly yet is about the front of the property. Okay, so here I am at the very front of the property. I don't think I've actually included this view before in one of these videos, but you can see how much space there really is at the very front of the property. You can see the front property, the property line right here, with this being the fence, obviously. And there's a good, maybe, it kind of varies that the road kind of comes in and out, but it roughly is about, I think, 30 to 40 feet or so to the main road. And then from the main road up to the first tiny houses, I think, is another 100 feet or so. So there's a pretty good space here in the very front of the property. And as you can see, it's very open. It's very wide open. You can kind of see everything that's happening in the front of the property. So we've come up with a solution. I know we had talked about initially from the very onset, as we were always going to put something here in the very front of the property. We thought about maybe putting in some green giant trees. These are these pine trees that grow, up to 30 feet or so, 6 feet in width. We could do a few rows of those. They're not cheap. We'd have to line, this is 120 feet worth of space right here at the very front of the property. It's kind of wide open. We have to put in a lot of trees, and it would take probably 3, 4, 5 years for that to really mature and actually to get the benefit of having those trees there to kind of create that security and kind of offset some of the road noise and stuff like that. So we thought, well, what's a better solution? And we've come up with something really cool. And I'm going to try and include a picture of this, a rendering of what we're going to put here in the front to kind of give you an idea what it's going to look like, because it's going to be awesome. Without further ado, basically what we're going to do, we decided another issue we have on the property is people have expressed a desire for storage. And it's something we've always wanted to provide is figure out how can we put in a storage solution. The third solution we want to come up with for people as well is more just community space. How can we provide more space for people to be able to do more things on the property? Because obviously a tiny house is a small space. You can only do so much in that space. I mean, you can fold stuff up, move things out of the way and all that, but it'd be nice to have other spaces set aside for maybe some crafting, or maybe to do some yoga, or some other kind of meditation room, or church, or worship. Different things that people can do. A choir, singing, maybe have a library. All these different ideas that we've got of things that don't all have to happen at the same time, but can use a similar space at different times of day or different times of the week or whatever, or once in a while. Perhaps we could even do like a farmer's market where people even off the property come out here to buy the wares and the crafts and maybe the vegetables that people grow here on the property. We can have a space set up in the very front of the property, the public part of the property, where people can come and, basically give the residents money for things that they've produced and shared, and have a whole kind of showcase for that. We could do that maybe once a month or something, where we've got, everyone comes together, brings all their stuff together on the Friday night. Saturday morning, we open it up all Saturday until we sell out or whatever, and have some food trucks come by. So different things like that. Nothing too crazy, not like an ice skating rink or anything like that, but just usable things that people would want to be able to do here on site, not have to go off property to do. So anyway, that's kind of the some of the ideas behind this. So let me get to the solution. Here's what we're going to do. Basically, it's a 120 feet wide section, right? Basically from the front of the gate here all the way over to where the forest starts. So what we're going to do is we're going to get shipping containers. High cube, 40-foot long shipping containers. They're basically 9 feet tall, 8 feet wide, 40 feet long. 3 of those together is 120 feet. You put them too high, you're talking 18 feet off the ground, which already kind of dips down a little bit. So we're going to build up the foundation a little bit. You're talking a wall, 20 feet tall, 120 feet long, solid metal. I think it's going to look really cool. And so what's going to happen is the bottom 3 units, 3 shipping container units, will be broken into storage units. So we'll have sizes like a normal 5x10 storage unit, and we'll also have some that are smaller. So if you don't need one that big, you could have a 5x5 unit, things like that. And we're going to ask the residents what sizes they want and all that kind of thing, so we can kind of break it all apart and figure out exactly what sizes people want and what people's needs are, things like that. That's going to be the entire bottom. Okay, so imagine a whole bunch of basically individualized storage units, climate controlled and everything. So you can walk in there, turn the light on. You got the air conditioning blowing in the summertime. You got the heater on in the wintertime to keep that room relatively stable temperature and humidity control. Then on top, so those are the bottom 3 storage containers, right? The top 3 are going to have windows cut out of the storage containers, the shipping containers rather, facing the lake. So you're going to have an even nicer view of the lake looking forward. There won't be any windows on the backside because you don't want to see the highway, or you don't want to see the south side of the property. You want to see towards the property where the lake is, and where the tiny homes are, where the people are, and all that. and you'll have a nice view, again, 10, 15 feet up in the air, and that's the space we're going to have set aside for like studios. Again, maybe one of the storage containers we set aside for like a that has, maybe a nice flooring in there that you can do, some yoga stuff or some stretching or some meditation, things like that, church, worship, stuff like that. And then another one, maybe we'll set up more of like an office where we can have like maybe a communal printer. People can come in, print some stuff off, print some documents off, do your taxes, connect to the internet, or even maybe use a shared computer. We'll have to figure out all these different, details later, but just generally to have a space where you can do work, maybe even a few different cubicles. So maybe you're trying to do a business from home. Well, maybe you could just work in here a couple hours a day, whatever, reserve this room, during these hours, and that's going to be your space. It'll be cordoned off, so you've got your own little office. And or people could come in there to your office, so to speak, and come up the stairs and all that, and you can put your name on the door during that time frame, kind of like a shared workspace. And then it wouldn't be your office all the time. I mean, maybe we could set up that as well later if there's a real demand for that. We could have, you could rent an office space for long term, just a little cubicle. We could do that too. And then maybe also like a library where you have some actual books in there, and you have just a little quiet space where people can kind of go read, and they have like a little, beanbag chair in one corner, and you've got a nice, couch over here in the other corner, maybe a coffee machine set up so you can kind of get some coffee and just sit there, look out at the lake, read a book, and just have a little nice space outside your own tiny home, just a second space on the property that's, again, climate controlled, cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and just kind of a nice place to kind of congregate and get together. And this is all in addition to the community clubhouse, okay? That's going to be a bigger space. It's going to be one large room, essentially. And then off the side of that, we're going to have a small, tiny little gym, tiny little sauna, a dry sauna, and maybe also like a library, workspace, computer area over there as well, and a bathroom. There won't be any plumbing facilities in this front building, just because trying to run plumbing and all that. It's just going to have electrical for heating and cooling and lights, but it's not going to have any plumbing here in the very front. Okay, just FYI. So anyway, that's to kind of bring you up to speed here on some of the plans for the property here. I didn't want to leak all this out at the beginning. I want to kind of tease you a little bit, give you some different ideas. And we've been kind of developing this and trying to put this all together to figure out what's going to make sense. I think what's so really cool about tiny houses in general is that you've got such a small space. You've got to think, right? You got to figure out how can this one space do three different things. If it's only doing one thing, it's a waste of space. So if you can have one space that does three different things, then I think you're doing well. The more things you can have that one space doing within reason, I think the better off you are, and just better for everybody. So in a community like this as well, you've got different people with different needs and different ideas and different things they want to do. So to have a versatile studio space like that, where we can kind of change it up based on people's needs, where you've got like the cushions in the corner, and you've got this over here, that there. Somebody uses the space as they need it, put all the stuff back, and now it's ready for the next person to use it however they need it, right? And we can even do like weekly classes or a weekly yoga thing or a daily yoga thing. I mean, it's going to be your community. Those of you residents who have bought into this property, bought into this program, bought into what we're doing here, this is going to be your property. And we're trying to provide some of the resources and some of the amenities and some of the things here for you to be able to kind of live your life and kind of structure it and develop it however you want. And I'm excited to see what people do with it, how they're going to utilize it. And we're going to be as flexible as we can and kind of, change things as needed, but trying to provide as much as we can up front for you guys to kind of do the things and really live your best life here at the Cottages at Pine Lake. So anyway, hope that helps. Here's a little update for you for the beginning of April. It's really supposed to be a March update, but I'm going to have another update coming for April in a few weeks' time. And I'm going to try and get some of that footage together for you guys in the meantime, so you can kind of see some of the machines working, the guys in the ditches, laying the pipe, laying the wire, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty fun. It was a challenge capturing all that on video, but I've got it, and I want to share that with you guys once I combine and put it all together. Just a lot going on. So anyway, Hans Schaff here at the Cottages at Pine Lake. See the tiny homes there in the background. The lake is in the distance there. We're at the very southern entrance of the property here, the only entrance. On the south side of the property, here's the property line going into the property there on the south side here, and that is the southeast corner over there. And this southeast corner, and this is your southwest corner on this side here. It's kind of give you a little. You can kind of see the forest over there. That's how big these trees are, like 75 to 90 foot trees. And of course the trees in the front right here, which are also 75 to 100 feet tall. And I know the height because my drone almost hit them. And of course the drone tells you the footage, so I always make sure I'm at least 100 feet high when I'm shooting that drone footage, because otherwise the drone may not come back, may get stuck in the trees. So anyway, Hans Schaff here from the Cottages at Pine Lake. Talk to you in the next video. Go tiny, be free.